Attorney's fees can be expensive. Let's be real. And nobody likes to pay a lot of money for anything. And I'm no different. This is why I'm very sensitive to people's budgets. This is why the state bars, including the American Bar Association, really encourages limited service representation. Limited scope representation. What is that? At our firm, we do offer limited budgeted a la carte representation. This means that you pay for ongoing consultations. But unlike other firms, these are not just consultations by phone. These are not just advisory only. These are pretty involved. This is a pretty involved form of limited representation. You would still be responsible for your deadlines, but we would help you comply with your deadlines. We would invite you into a secure client portal where you can see messages, you can see your deadlines, you can see all of your documents. An attorney, such as myself, will do substantive reviews of your documents and advise you on what the next steps are. When it comes to drafting items, we do not ghostwrite for you when we do limited scope representation. Otherwise, we should just take the case for full representation, right? But you don't have to start from scratch. We provide you tailored templates. We will fill out the basic information in a template and provide you with the legal parameters, and you can fill in the facts and apply the facts within the legal parameters that we put together for you. So we provide you tailored templates. It's a very substantive form of limited scope representation, but it's also very budget friendly. You pay for an hour or two as needed. You get detailed statements showing exactly what work was performed and how the money that you provided was applied towards that work. We don't pad the billing and we don't look for reasons to bill you. We don't try to collect money afterwards. You pay up front for an hour or two or more as needed. You pay as you go. And then, as your case progresses, you have an attorney in your corner who has your back. You're trying to do this by yourself. You're trying to be self-represented. Maybe it's advisable that you do because maybe the case is not something that is worth investing thousands and thousands of dollars into at the stage that you're at or the stage that you are in. Maybe you can get by on conducting your case through a certain portion of your case, more on a budget, with some attorney guidance. Some attorney guidance is better than no attorney guidance. And in the case of me and my law firm, and with me, my limited service is far superior to no representation at all. Some things to keep in mind though is that limited scope representation may not be appropriate in the following circumstances. Number one, if you are in a very heavy part of the litigation, if you are in the middle of discovery disputes, if you are trying to take depositions, or if you are actually at the trial part or the final hearing stage, you may need more than just guidance. Remember, we cannot coach from the sidelines, only to a certain extent. Sometimes limited representation is just a stopgap measure until you can find full representation. A good percentage of our clients are thriving under the limited scope representation because it provides access to quality legal advice and guidance, not just winging it on the telephone, giving you general guidance, but actually looking at your circumstances, looking at your case, looking at your documents, analyzing it, and providing you with tailored guidance. Another thing to keep in mind is that with limited service, we would not be your attorneys of record. So you may not necessarily get reimbursed attorney's fees when you win your case unless we started off as limited service and converted into full representation, which, by the way, that occurs sometimes. Sometimes we start off with limited service and it keeps us engaged in the case long enough where eventually we reach a point where we convert into full representation. And because we've been involved in the case and knowing the facts and helping you, we are in a much better position to represent you on a full basis for your hearing, for example, or when you get to a certain stage. Limited service can be very great to start off with and then convert into full representation. While you are doing limited scope representation, it's still encouraged that you seek full representation. You're open to seeking full representation from other attorneys if needed. Remember, you are still responsible for your deadline. We do our best to help you out based on the information that you provide us, but you are ultimately responsible for your deadlines. You are ultimately responsible for carrying out your case if you are self-represented. But you are not doing this alone. Take advantage of limited scope representation. Take advantage of the budgeted a la carte method of representation that many other clients are finding to be game changers.